Let's face it, many of us writers are perfectionists. Hi everyone, I'm Rachel from the Authortube channel Rachel Writes, and here are 5 tips to beat perfectionism this NaNoWriMo. Number 1, only reread your drafts as a fan. For some writers like me, rereading your writing before each writing session is an integral part to your process. However, if you struggle with perfectionism, rereading your draft may only make you pick out all of the tiny things you don't like about your draft. The thing is, first drafts are supposed to have problems. This is where I recommend rereading your work only as a fan would. This could mean cozying up with your book in a cup of hot chocolate, printing out the first couple of chapters, or even transferring the file to your phone so it can feel like an ebook. Immerse yourself in your work. Laugh at funny dialogue. Take note of the lines you adore. This is the time to enjoy your writing, not tear it down. Sometimes it's nice to reread your work as a reader might. Self-love when it comes to your writing is one of the most important things you can do to stay motivated. But if you feel that rereading your work will ultimately slow you down, just consider skipping this step. Number 2, create a revision limit. Some of us also love to edit our writing as we go. If this is how you write normally outside of NaNoWriMo, it can be difficult to shut off your inner editor completely. This is where I suggest creating revision limits with yourself. For example, I will limit myself to 5 minutes of revision a day where I can tweak lines or dialogue or other things that I don't think are working. But I will not go over this 5 minutes. Sometimes completely cutting off what works for you can backfire. The trick is to work with your process while also tailoring it to make it more efficient for NaNoWriMo. This balance will hopefully save you time in the end because you can move forward with your draft feeling better about it without falling into an editing hole. Number 3, do short writing sprints. Sometimes it's hard to turn off our inner editor at all. If this is you, sometimes you have to override the voice by distracting it. This is where I suggest short writing sprints. When I'm feeling particularly antsy about my work, I set a 5 or 10 minute writing sprint and don't stop writing for the entire duration of that sprint. For me, it's very difficult to overthink while also trying to get in my words in that time. Better yet, if you tend to be perfectionistic, but you're also competitive like me, try to beat your word count for each sprint you do. I like to do this because my competitive voice overthrows the perfectionist. It also helps me become more focused on the writing itself rather than every little detail. Number 4, limit your thesaurus use. I totally get it. We writers love the thesaurus, but sometimes getting too hung up on every single word choice can slow us down a lot. If you're a chronic thesaurus user, consider cutting back that usage a little bit. Doing this cold turkey might not be realistic and actually cause you to be more perfectionistic. This is where I recommend setting a limit with yourself similar to the revision limit. Perhaps you can refer to your thesaurus a few times during your writing session until you feel like you don't need to refer to it at all. A thesaurus is a great tool, but using it less allows you to trust yourself in 2 ways. Number 1, you can trust that you can pick the best word for your work in that moment. Number 2, you can trust that you can swap out a word you're unhappy with in later revisions. And number 5, accept that all writers fail. Sometimes perfectionism needs to be dealt with on a larger scale. This is where I recommend really having a kind conversation with yourself. It's important to know that failure is a really important, healthy part of the writing process. If you write bad dialogue or a cringe sentence, that is okay. It's totally normal. There's nothing wrong with your writing if in that moment you don't like it. Sometimes it's hard to give a proper judgment when we're so close to our projects. And when you're writing every day for NaNoWriMo, creating that distance can be even more difficult. It's okay to be imperfect. In fact, try to write imperfectly more often. The more you do it, the more you'll realize that nothing bad will happen if you do write badly. In fact, great things can happen because you learn more in revision. Think of imperfect writing as an opportunity rather than a hindrance. With imperfect writing, you have a way to track your improvement. You'll also improve more in the future. Quick recap. Number 1, only reread your drafts as a fan. This is great for developing a habit of self-love to keep you motivated. Number 2, create a revision limit. This is great for realistically hitting your goals without slowing down your progress. Number 3, do short writing sprints. This is great for overriding your perfectionistic voice. Number 4, limit your thesaurus use. This is great for learning to trust yourself and your future inner editor. Number 5, accept that all writers fail. This is great for acknowledging that imperfection is an opportunity. Those are 5 tips to overcome perfectionism this NaNoWriMo. If you like writing videos, be sure to check out my channel, which I'll link in the description. But for now, good luck with NaNoWriMo this year. Bye.